Hello. Hello, 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 replay watchers. Hello, welcome everybody. I'm coming up a little bit earlier than I said. I missed yesterday. I'm coming up today. Uh, but welcome if you're new to me. Hi, my name is Christine Marguerite, sometimes known as Blossom, sometimes known as Being, or a bunch of other things. Love Evolve Energy slash Aligned Light. Those are the names I also go under. So what I'm doing up here is I always want to say the word comeuppance, but that's not the word. What I'm meaning is I'm coming up to share some authenticity around what's happening in my meditation practice and creative works practices, um, in order to kind of give myself an accountability and shift my world and how I do things by making those aspects of myself a priority. And this is simply a report about what all of that for shiz is, what the for shiz is. So if that interests you in some way, stick around. This is where I do a little mini break. Kind of want to do a longer one, but I'm going to do a mini one. Uh, and I'll catch you just in about 30 seconds. Hey, people, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Let me see if I can see any comments here. Typically, um, where I'll be broadcasting, where you will be seeing this broadcast is either on my Facebook business page or my YouTube uh, business channel. I have three YouTubes, which is crazy to me, but that's just how things have worked out last year or so. And again, it's an accountability and hopefully sharing some insight about what's been going on. And if you've been following me the last week or so, you know that I'm doing an 108-day challenge. Um, Today is day, as you can see in the ticker tape below, is day 18 of an hour plus a day of meditation. And I don't really have a commitment around when, but I'm feeling like I need one. And we'll unpack that in a minute. I feel like there's quite a few things to unpack. So I'm not sure where I'll go with things. But also, uh, I do not have a commitment to when and how often on a weekly or daily basis I work into the creative flow. So let me tell you about the creative flow right now. Having been a professional dancer and a painter, I don't know if it's what you would call professional painter. I don't know at what point that is true. I've had one or two shows. If you include installation art, I've had much more. But if we're including painting, I've had one group show. But that was way back in the day, and I've often done it as a way to connect to source. In fact, I studied with Aviva Gold, if you know who she is or know any of her books, where she talks about painting from the source. So now I'm working with Whitney Freya, uh, is studying with, I should say, to begin to not just dive deeper into my own Tao of co-creation. God, I gotta write that down. Tao of co-creation, my Tao of co-creation. Perhaps that's what I'll make a new group somewhere called the Tao of co-creation. Ooh, let me write that down because I'm digging that. For what intention working with her other than what I just said of the Tao of co-creation? And but also, part of doing this program with her, It's chock a block full of information and practices and a great community. Uh, I should say I also do baking and I make cookies, which is a whole creative project, a science project and a creative project at the same time, but that is a seasonal thing. Hopefully, I'll remember to talk about that in a minute too. So, one of the emphases of doing this study with Whitney is that she's training me and the group of us, my cohort, to be able to coach people and teach people to coach and support them through diving deeper into their own creative process and our own expression of what that may be. So, not necessarily copying her way, uh, but exploring what our way is. And so, just that statement is alignment with me. If you know any of my energy work, it's very true that I really want others to feel empowered to be able to do their own energy work, their own trust themselves, to empower themselves, to live life to the fullest. Now it's shifting for me in a way, which is why you will see some shifts on my website, the loveevolveenergy.com, with all the HTTPs and the wwws in front of it. But you can just use the Google Oracle to find that. Shifting quite a bit is what I'm saying. I am. That is Christine, is shifting quite a bit. So you'll see some shifts there. I do still have appointments available. I've cut down my hours. I believe I have weekend hours and Mondays. I believe that's what we decided and what it looks like on the schedule there. And I've really cut down what my offerings are, really pared down so that I can recombobulate and then offer more. So we'll see what it looks like in the new year. Hey, Gustavo, how's it going for you? So, so that's part of the flow that's happening. It's interesting. I notice when people start to show up. Um, Saludas. So that my energy shifts in a little bit of a way. So, let me get back to one of the things I mentioned that I wanted to move into a little bit more, and that's the meditation practice. And notice if you've been with me for the last couple of weeks, then you know that that's primarily what I talk about. I'm not sharing a lot of the creative expression, although now it's occurring to me to share that. So I'm going to write that down. And what else was I going to write down? This pen is not working so well. Uh, what was it? I'll have to go back and listen. Co-creative something. Go back and listen. We're listening to so much. So let me start to unpack what that's been like. So, in terms of the accountability and what's been happening, I've been sharing uh, at the beginning every day, and then I took a little bit of a break. Not that I haven't been practicing, but not doing these accountabilities and these shares so often. So, that feels fine to me, although there is something about momentum that I really like. So, I may begin to become more inclusive about that or what I share in terms of broadening my accountability and also in terms of what I'm sharing about uh, and when. I also notice that in terms of these broadcasts, that is primarily Facebook that I get some of the chats and comments and not other places like YouTube. So that's interesting to me. That's something I'm noting, and I'm just going to keep going with it. I'm going to keep plugging and seeing how it goes and maybe recommit to times for all things, not just my sits. So let's talk about that'll be my entry point for this morning. This is not going to be a long chat. Usually I go about half an hour. When there are more people here, I chat with them and I do up to an hour. Um, timing. So what I've noticed, I loosely, the first week, as I stated, if you were with me the first week, I kept it pretty broad just to see what was arising organically, so that I could then make a more informed and more organic, natural decision and commitment. And so what I'm noticing is that sitting in the morning suits me best. Sharing in the morning also maybe suits me best. We'll see. But sitting in the morning suits me best. If it other things arise, like yesterday or a couple of times last week, then I get swept up in my day, which is fine. And it's not as if I don't put in my commitment of 1 hour plus. Uh, However, it happens in chunks. It happens in pieces, and um, sometimes it just feels effortful. It feels like pulling teeth with when it's something that I really enjoy and I'm already seeing and noticing immense benefit from just in this recommitment to what is actually happening in meditation practice. And that's really what I wanted to, what I'm realizing, share about the insights today that intention, your why, even if it's a shot in the dark, even if it's a guess at why, a guess at your intention for practice is significant. It's your life raft. It's what will get you to the cushion, get you through a sit, and help you integrate after. So my intentions are multiple. Some of the big ones are, the main words are, the main intentions are increase concentration power, increase peace, the, the sensation of body, heart, and mind of peacefulness, opening to co-creative process, which requires surrender. Those are the three main ones. There are lifetime overarching intentions, such as something that's called stream entry, which really relies upon certain conditions to be present for an opportunity during the sit, certain conditions to be present during the sit for the opportunity to arise to follow that path towards stream entry. In a sense, it's always possible. Um, so, that being the overarching truth for me, there's also these um, intermediate during this time flow, during this phase, that I'm focusing on these other things of concentration, strength, and peacefulness expansion, and surrender to co creative process. So, that being said, when I've been coming to my sits, it's been quite humbling in terms of the papancha, which is the proliferation of mind stuff. The mental body has been chock a block full of activity, which can create a cascade into the emotional body and the physical body, and perhaps upward into soul spirits, spiritual bodies, et cetera, or energy bodies. Pranamaya kosha, whatever you want to call. Although pranamaya kosha is really a link between spiritual body and physical body. It relies on breath or chi or energy, which is very manifest Anyway, that's a whole other conversation that I just silver squirrel got distracted by. Uh, and so let me get back to my train of thought, which was around the proliferation of thought within the mental body and my growing my capacity to stay with it, which increases equanimity, which is its own flavor of concentration for shiz. Uh, and then being able to be discerning and make wise choice, skillful choices about how much I bear witness to and lean into and stay with what's happening in the mental body because that's what's very present and asking for attention. And when I back away a bit and more move more into not simply a witnessing or skillful, increasing skillful uh, meditation muscle practice, but moving into the practice of cultivating peace, cultivating qualities of mind as a way to get some relief, as a way to feel a little bit of relief. So, what I've solved, because we're all about, excuse me, we're all about solution finding, is that I need to do some energy practice before I go to a sit. I am hoping to increase that to energy practice plus on myself. Plus a little bit of yoga, which means physical body practices before, not a whole bunch, but enough before I enter into formal sitting practice. Time wise, this eats up quite a lot. Quite a lot of time is eaten up. I simply just lost my train of thought there, hence concentration practice. Uh, what I would like and what I've been noticing that I need a little bit more of in order to help the papancha, the proliferation of thought in the mind. If we use common parlance in mindfulness techniques, we think about monkey mind or puppy mind. So, to give the puppy mind a bone to chew on, to give the monkey mind a bunch of bananas to eat. So, what I've decided to do is to work with guided meditation during my formal sitting practice. I tend to be leaning into a Zen like practice, a Theravadan Buddhism type practice, uh, which has a kind of firmness around your parameters. And my spiritual ego wants me to sit for an hour in silence, plus the bells, with my own mind. The truth of it is, for this time, for the processes, the tail and, so I believe, of a grieving process, of moving into a practice that looks different from what my spiritual ego wants it to look like. My intentions are still intact. If I stay true to my intentions for cultivating concentration, peacefulness, and surrender to creative flow, that still allows for guided meditation happening in the background to be available and to be a skillful choice. And so that's what I worked with this morning. I tried to make a wise choice around the guided. Um, do I move away from the boundaries of the guided meditation when opportunities arise for deeper exploration? Sure. And some guided meditations allow for a lot of silence and exploration. Yes. Have I listened to my own guided meditations? No. I'm curious about that, but I'm going to hold off until I feel a little bit more stability. So that's what I did this morning. And I have to say, moving towards my stated intentions for practice were easier. That's not that other things, the usual, what's been the usual so far, the monkey mind didn't show up in full force. I had a stronger boundary. I had a stronger skill set support to be with it. Yes, part of that is consistent practice over the last 18 days, consistent longer practice. Uh, some of it is too surrendering to help, letting myself be supported through auditory guided, which is holding auditory space for me, which is tapping into directly that aspect of monkey mind, which will happen for me in languaging and pictures, but languaging as well. So that's the solution I found. Does it rub up against the spiritual ego of mine? Yeah. Am I okay with that? Yeah. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Not because I have to be, not because I'm defeated or fatalistic about it, but because I joyously accept assistance and help, which is definitely a life lesson for me, particularly the last year. So, no surprise that it's arising for me during practice. So, may this give you permission to authentically face your own practices and to be honest with yourself, to not try to pigeonhole yourself, squeeze yourself into some type of idea that you want to achieve, into some type of tradition or practice that's supposed to be good for you. Not that training and commitment isn't helpful, but somewhere in the practice, we really need to love and honor the authentic experience and to really care for what is needed in that present moment, no matter what the ideas of selfing dictate that needs to look like. To simply move into it, to let yourself fall apart and sob for an entire sit, to let yourself ask for help and do a beginner's guided meditation, auditory sit, to use music, to use something to walk in nature and be as present as is possible, and to bookend that practice, any practice, with the beginning and an end. That is the only way, the only I'm sorry, not the only way, the only necessity to what I might call formal practice is that you say beginning and you say end, and whatever happens in that span of time is its own perfection, is its own perfection. So with that, I leave you. Thank you, Gustavo, for chatting or showing up and doing whatever. Thank you, everybody else who are catching this on the replay. Thank you, everybody who is practicing these days, who is taking the leap and letting yourself show up for yourself, whatever your commitments are, whatever your intentions. for changing your life, whatever that practice is, and simply showing up for that. Good on ya. I'm here for support for that. I'm showing you what it is for me and how I'm doing it. And my greatest hope is that this may inspire you to do that for yourself, whatever that may be. May this practice be of benefit for all beings everywhere. And I honor those who that have come before me, and those who will come after me, and those that walk beside me on this path. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And with that, oh, I don't know that you can hear that through these. I end my sit for the day. Moving on, and I'll catch you tomorrow. I may do this again tonight. We'll see how it goes. All right. Uh, I hope that you practice well. I hope that you have a beautiful day. Please remember to care for yourself, love yourself, love yourself. A bientôt.